Good evening, sports fans, and welcome into the Fink's Friday Night Blitz with a thanks to Fink's Used Cars and Fink's Harley Davidson. He's Kevon Belcher. I'm Dylan Kearns. Kevon, we're halfway through the football season. Hard to believe.
Man, I cannot believe it. The game is going by too quickly. Today, the games just feel like they were just overflowing, just going by so fast, and I'm just trying to enjoy every single second of it.
It's a lot of fun, so let's head out and get to the highlights. John Glenn at Sheridan, first quarter of play. Caden Sheridan drops back and connects with Ryan Kuhn on a seam route, and the 20-yard strike turns into 6 points for the Generals. They lead 7-0 after the PAT. This game became full of defense. Later in the quarter, Sheridan running the option play. Pitch goes in the direction of Justin Munyon, but the ball ends up on the ground. Picked up by Cameron Barneshouse. He sees nothing but green grass, but is eventually shoved out of bounds inside the 5. The Generals' defense became a wall, stuffs the play in the backfield. John Glenn had 5 cracks at points from this position in the field. 5 attempts from there. You'd think they'd get in, right? Well, the second fourth down try is once again bottled up. If you like defense, you like this one. Sheridan holds on 14-0. The Generals are off to a 5-0 start. A lot of that can be thanks in part to a great defense and ground game. Muskies lose their first game of the season.
All right, Dylan, we head to probably the most anticipated game of the night with the Tornadoes hosting the undefeated Philo Electrics. Start off in the third quarter with the Electrics down 7. Here they are getting a nice run by quarterback Talon Preston, and he lowers the shoulder at the end for a first down. But it was all Tornadoes soon after that. Same drive, Preston back, and it's picked off by the other quarterback, Jake Anton. Next possession, it gives to Carter Winland, and he makes a nice move and makes a man miss for a nice 17-yard gain for the first down. A couple plays later, it's Winland again with the moves, and he tries to hurdle over a defender, but he coughs it up. West Virginia would cover, and later in possession on the 2-yard line, little wild card action, and it's Rashid Cisse walking it into the end zone, 14-point lead. Get to later in the fourth quarter, it's Cisse again and finding the hole and bounces outside. And he shows off the state track running speed as he takes it all the way to the end zone. But Dylan, they call him out of bounds at the 20-yard line. But he would cap off the drive a couple plays later at the 1-yard line. This time it's the same result. Touchdown number 2 for Cisse, and that would do it for West Virginia as they snap a 14-game losing streak to their rivals as they defeat the Electrics 21-0.
Classic out there. Maysville and Crooksville, it was a lopsided first half. Panthers up 20-0, picked up first play of the third quarter. Brayson Hill looking to throw. He does straight to Caleb Mudlocks of the Panthers. The interception gives Maysville a short field. The very next play, Coach Clark wants Harper to go deep, and he does to Wesley Armstead. The Swiss Army knife makes a few guys miss and is tackled inside the 10. Sets them up nicely. The Ceramics defense stood tall, though, and forced a fourth down. The pass to Sammy Scott, that falls incomplete. Maysville stood to the test. Crooksville had trouble getting things going offensively, and the Panthers held them scoreless. No scoring in the second half, so the Panthers win at 20-0 and improve to 2-3. Crooksville now back-to-back losses at 3-2.
Now let's take a look at the only 2 NVL scores we have left, with Morgan defeating Coshocton in a narrow game. Morgan holds on, Dylan, 35-34 over Coshocton, and Meadowbrook takes down Riverview in a blowout, 63-0.
And still to come, more MVL highlights with Tri-Valley and New Lexington. Plus, we head out to Rosecrans. Ty Belcher joins the set. We'll have highlights and more scores when we return. Welcome back into the Fink's Friday Night Blitz with thanks to Fink's Used Cars and Fink's Harley Davidson. Kevon, some great games in the first block of the show, but I believe Ty has another one from Rosecrans.
Thanks, guys. The weather tonight was great for football, and for these 2 teams, it was a great night for scoring, too. Heading out to Bishop Rosecrans, where the Bishops look to etch another point in the win column as they host the Eagles of Grove City Christian, who come into the matchup 2-2 on the season. But looking for a hot start, the Bishops start the game pulling a fast one on the Eagles, starting the game off with an onside kick, and the risk ends up being worth it as the Bishops steal the opening possession of the game by recovering the onside kick. Quarterback Brendan Bernath, looking to optimize the opportunity, finds Eden Lynch across the middle for the touchdown. The Bishops make the first move on the board, pun intended, to go up 7-0. The Eagles will respond as Caden Carroll can't stop, won't stop, until he finds the end zone to tie it up at 7-all. And the Grove City coach said, if it's not broke, don't fix it, as they once again give the ball to Caden for the 5-yard run to take the lead 14-7 in the first quarter. But on the following possession, Brendan Bernath would roll to the right. As he rolls to the right, and it's just the two of us. Finds his man Eden once again for his second touchdown of the night. Tie the things back up at 14 apiece. And guys, I don't know if you noticed, but Caden Carroll was on a mission tonight as he notched touchdown number 3 of the half to retake the lead 21-14 for the Eagles. But the Bishops would reach deep in their bag of tricks as Bernath gets it to Ortega. Then he plays hot potato, giving it instantly to Jacob Garman, and he can't go all the way for a touchdown, a 67-yard hook and ladder play. Brendan Bernath would have himself a game, finishing with almost 300 yards passing and 5 touchdowns, as the Bishops of Bishop Rosecrans would go on to win 35-27.
Now we head out to Tri Valley, where the Scotties had a packed house against the visiting New Lexington Panthers. Start off in the first quarter, still no score, as Max Lyle stepping back and finding his favorite target, Ashens, sends the ball underneath, and he picks up a solid gain to move the sticks. We skip to a couple plays later in the drive as Lyle again, this time finding a wide open Jaden Wallace as he dives into the end zone for an easy score. Scotty's up 7-0, but New Lexington would fight back with Isaiah Stevens looking to scramble to his right and throwing a dot to Bentley Hansen, and that will move the chains. First down. A couple plays later, it's a give to Carson Kellogg. He takes it up the middle for another big gain to put the Panthers inside the 3-yard line. The Panthers would try and run it in 3 straight times inside the 3-yard line, first getting stuffed 3 plays, and Tri-Valley's defense holds, only allowing 0 yards in that 3 yards gain. And then they will try the field goal, but that will be missed as well. The Scotties would hold strong. Now, 3 minutes before the half, Wallace gets a crease and makes a big move, shrugs off some tacklers, and gets the gain. Tri-Valley would keep up the momentum with Lyle trying it and throws it up to definitely Austin Sensible, and he gets a You Got Moss play, getting for the catch and going in for the end zone, putting the Scotties up 14-0 as they cruise to victory over the Panthers, 38-8.
And looking at some scores not of the MVL, Olentangy Orange beat Newark 42-13. Granville beat Northridge 36-6. Newark Catholic got their first win of the season. Remember, a Final Four team from a year ago got their first win of the game here in Week 5 against Licking Heights, shut them out 20-0. Bern Union beat Miller 20-16. Rootstown beat Shenandoah 33-26. Heath beat Zanesville 40-20. Caldwell beat Belpre 49-0. Chillicothe beat Logan 17-14. Yvonne, a lot of good games. We saw the West Muskingum Philo game. I think that was, as you mentioned in your script, one of the most anticipated games of the year. A small school team that has the firepower, Rashid Cisse. He's got 14 touchdowns on the year. It's Week 5.
I told the kid during the camp when we were doing the Inside the Tornado that he owes me an all-state performance throughout the entire year, and he's done it throughout the year so far, averaging almost 3 touchdowns a game. This kid is unstoppable, and I don't think he's going to be stuck the rest of the season.
He's got 11 rushing touchdowns now. He's got a couple kick returns. He's got some receiving touchdowns. He looks good. And then a couple other teams that have looked good throughout the course of the year. How about that close, narrow win for Morgan tonight? Morgan started the year strong, 2 straight wins. They have the game play, a good first half against Philo. Kind of fall apart in the second half there. They lose last week, and they go to Coshocton, who hasn't won a game yet this year. They lose by 1.
I think that kind of tells you how good Coshocton is, kind of like just showing that they're not giving up on the season. You know, fighting Morgan, who's obviously looking as a great team, trying to compete for the small school. But, I mean, Coshocton is obviously trying to make some moves.
And it's hard to win a game on the road. But Morgan went ahead in there and found a way to do so. But that'll be all for the Fink's Friday Night Blitz. So thanks to Fink's Used Cars and Fink's Harley Davidson. Have a good night.